playing for a tanking team these past few years, the perception of Jalen Green around the NBA is taking a hit. Here's why I think he's changing the narrative as we speak. Tap in. Enjoy.
Sound 42. Turn it up. It's the Chop Not Slap Show. It's OG Ron C and DJ Candlestick. Chop Stars OVO Gang. DJ Candlestick. One time for the homie DJ Screw. Already. I feel it though in his back.
The Chop Shop and Mint Mobile have partnered together to bring you some good news. And the good news is that Mint Mobile's cell phone service and wireless services are here, and they're here to save you money. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless services as low as $15 a month. That is right, $15 a month. That means you are still keeping your same speed, you're still having the same coverage, you still are able to use the same data that you use, but for the low price of $15 a month. Switching to Mint Mobile is totally easy. I mean, they've made it so easy. You can literally download your SIM card. They have an eSIM card program. You're able to download a SIM card to your phone, and immediately within like 15 minutes, you can activate that SIM card and have a new line with Mint Mobile. For a special limited offer for our Chop Shop viewers, you can get the Mint Mobile services, the unlimited services. That's usually $30. You can get it for $15. That's 50% off. You're saving 50%. You're gonna get the unlimited service for Mint Mobile for only $15 a month. Think of all the stuff you could do with a little bit of extra money that you save from your cell phone bill in your pockets. You can go to a Rockets game. You can, take your family out to eat. Like I said, nobody should be paying this much for cell phone services in 2023. The technology is too good for that. So make the switch today. Go to the link in the description of the video, support the channel, check out Mint Mobile as we're partnering with them, and we're going to keep dropping that heat.
The time you deserve from me. This is something I know.
I'm actually, as long as we're talking about Jalen Green, I might as well. I'm super high on Jalen Green.
Yeah.
I think, and the reason I want to write about him is if this works, I think it's going to be because Jalen Green becomes a star number one ball handler. And I think he can do that. If you talk to people around the league right now, a number of people have sent me these comps. Age-wise and trajectory-wise, he lines up right around Brad Beal, Zach LaVine, maybe a little ahead of those guys at the same age. Yeah. Are those guys number one options on a championship level team? No. They're really, really good players, and we don't know if that's going to be the ceiling for Jalen Green. I just think the guy can do stuff on the floor that is very, very hard to find on offense. And I just think he's shown enough of the right instincts as a passer, as a cutter, and as a defender. Yeah. And by showing the right instincts and the right will, I don't mean that it's constant. I don't mean like entire weeks go by where the dude is just chucking up shots. But I think there's something there with Jalen Green.
So Zach is very high on Jalen's upside, and I've spoke on Jalen's upside a million times. And my stance stays the same. I think that just like they pointed out, the talent is never going to be an issue with Jalen. Oozes talent. You think about his archetype, a player that has his level of athleticism, the shooting, which even though he's not the most efficient scorer right now, he is going to be a shooter, right? That shooting plus the level of athleticism combined is a rare combination to have. Usually guys that are super athletes are not great shooters. They're going to rely just on getting to the rim. And usually guys that are great shooters are not the best athletes, so they overcompensate with their perimeter skill and being able to generate shots on the perimeter to get their shooting off. Jalen has a mixture of both, which is a rare combination. To me, that's the ceiling right there. But that ceiling ranges. You know what I mean? You see he mentioned names like the Zach LaVines, the Devin Bookers. He mentioned the Bradley Beal. Those are three different players on three different levels. And you could rank him however you want. I think, to me, Zach LaVine is a lower high-end tier for Jalen. And the higher end is going to be the Devin Booker. And Bradley Beal falls somewhere in between. Can that type of archetype be the best player on a championship team? To me, it's simple. Can he be a playmaker? Can he play defense? And he doesn't have to be both. I think my rationale for that is, can you be the guy that if they give you the ball, you have the ability to read the game well enough that you can make the right play every time and still be able to generate your own shot if need be? And if you don't have that skill set, and I'm not talking about just in a Tuesday night game versus the Indiana Pacers or in a Sunday night on a back-to-back versus Charlotte. I'm talking about it's May, it's late in the playoffs. Can you be that guy that the team can trust with the ball on a possession by possession basis, to not turn the ball over, to make the right play, to make the big shots when it's time being? Can Jalen be that guy? And I think yes, but it's yet to be seen. That's why I really put a lot of stock into this year that he has coming up. This third year, usually you see the leap from the players. You've seen my videos. If you guys haven't watched it, there's a video I created basically talking about where Jalen is tracking right now as a prospect, and he's on par. And Zach had pointed it out. He's better than Zach LaVine was at this age, pretty much close to where Devin Booker was at this age. He's better than where Bradley Beal was at this age. But what's going to determine where that goes is really going to be up to him. The other side of it is playing defense. I think that for these two guard players, and people, you know my philosophy, like if you're going to be a bucket, you're going to be a great six man on a good team, right? If you're going to be a bucket, if you're not going to play defense, then you really can't be on the court. We don't need Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is never going to be the best player on a championship team because, one, he's not that efficient, and two, he's not a great defender. No offense to him, but that's just how the NBA works. That's how basketball works. What keeps guys on the court at all times, no matter how bad offensively you are, is defense. That's why I'm really high on Jabari and Amen Thompson, because they're going to play defense. And those defensive guys, regardless of their limitations, they find ways to get playing time because coaches can trust that. I may not be able to score 1,000,000 points on you, but if I can stop you, I got other guys that can score. So for Jalen, this season is going to be very, very instrumental to that, for him developing that narrative about him not just being an inefficient scorer. I think it's going to be really based on how he performs on the defensive end and how he's able to maneuver being a playmaker and a guy that links the offense and not be a ball stopper or a bad shot taker. But I think all of that is in the cards, and it is really, really, really good what I'm seeing from him this summer. I'm really, really pleased with what I'm seeing from him this summer. And I'm going to tell you why in a second.
Jalen Green, we know he can put the ball in the hole. Just real bluntly, professionalism is something that needs to improve there based on what I hear. Like, hey, do you want to live the NBA life or do you want to have a great NBA career? Let's figure out what your priorities are.
So it's funny you say that, because the reason I want to talk about the Rockets is I'm going to write something sometime on Jalen Green and this young core. So I've been talking to a lot of people about Jalen Green. I've actually heard a little bit of the opposite, that lifestyle, whatever stuff is a little overblown. And he said, like, if you talk to the people who played with him with the Ignite when they were in the bubble, they were like, we were kind of impressed by this young guy. Now he's got the Instagram stuff, he's got the fashion stuff, so who knows? But I don't. Let's put it this way. Of all the young players, even leaving Porter aside, I don't sense a great deal of concern about Jalen Green's professionalism, so to speak, other than like typical young guy stuff of like, does he want to just score a ton of points or does he want to win?
So amidst all of this going on, we've seen Jalen hooping. He's hooping in different runs, playing with, and not just hooping with his partners, right? Like last year in the summer, I think one of the biggest runs he had was him and Scotty Barnes, right? With a bunch of looked like his partners and Scotty and a bunch of like his friends that came out to a camp that he did back home in Fresno, which is cool. And, that's great. But I think what I like seeing this year kind of leads me to one of my next points about why I think Jalen is going to change the narrative this coming year is the fact that he's around veterans. I think this is an important part. You guys, there's a video also I made about veterans. It's in the link for this video. If you're checking it out, you can check that video out as well. Talks about the importance of veterans, speaks on the relationship between Tyson Chandler and Devin Booker and how instrumental Tyson was for Devin's development. And I think there is a certain archetype to being a vet. It's not just any old player in the NBA. guys have to take pride in it. And this is as old as time. Veterans are important to the development of young players, not just on the court, but off the court. In that video, you hear Devin talking about just learning things about when to go to bed when you're on the road and on a long road trip. When should I eat? When should I wake up to work out? And this is something that's very important to me. And I think mentorship and veteran leadership goes a long way in pulling out the best out of these players. And the fact that I'm seeing Jalen training with Fred VanVleet, which is going to be a future teammate, building that rapport already, I think goes a long way for him reaching his full potential. You see him training with the Kevin Durant's of the world. You see all of that. And I'm going to read a quote. This quote is from an article that's going to be in the link for this pod. I'm going to have a million links on this pod. But this article quotes LaMarcus Aldridge speaking on his time in San Antonio. The article speaks on all these young guys that came to San Antonio and got that mentorship from that team that they had as they were phasing out of being a contender. So LA says that I do it now, but really didn't have veterans when I came into the league. He said, I came to a team that turned the page pretty quickly. We were young. He's talking about his time in Portland. We were young, Zebo, speaking of Zach Randolph, and those guys left. So we kind of had to learn through trial and error in the fire. I really didn't have anyone to kind of take me under their wing and tell me, hey, this is what you do. And that's from LaMarcus Aldridge, speaking of not having a vet and the impact there. Like, you're just out there just learning, doing whatever you think is right. So if you're a player like the guys we've seen on these Rockets teams over the past few years, people are just seeing you just learn on the job, and it makes you look undisciplined. It makes you look bad. It makes you look like you don't care, or it makes the Tim McMahons of the world think that you have a bad work ethic, when honestly, these kids just don't know any better. Rafael Stone is not a basketball player. I mean, he played in Division III, wherever he played in college, but that's not going to be enough for him to tell a number 2 overall pick, hey bro, let's go work out at this time. Hey, meet me at the gym at this time. Hey man, y'all need to go to bed. Hey, let's try to, let's do this, let's do that. Do this with your money. Don't sign with that. Watch out from the females. All these things that help a person be whole. And I think that's what people are missing. These dudes are not 2K characters. They're human beings, and when you're not balanced on your off court, it does impact how you play on the court, how the fatigue sets in because you're not sleeping right, not getting enough rest, not taking care of your body. It's, long road trips where by the 4th game on a road trip, you trash, you shooting 20% from the court. All of that stuff actually does translate to their real life basketball game. And I think that it's important for our players to get that. Here's another quote. This one's from Al Horford. Speaking of his experiences with vets, he says, I was very lucky. I had a lot of veterans around me. It was very influential. You're coming in and you're learning how to be a pro, how to do it right, how to do it the right way. Those guys played for a lot of years in the NBA. There are always a lot of guys that have potential. Now, y'all peep this. Read this again. There's always a lot of guys that have potential, but to make it a certain amount of years in the league, it takes more than just potential. You have to be professional. You have to be a good teammate, do things the right way. So now any chance I get to talk to a younger guys, I do it. That's from Al Horford. And what sticks out to me there is that there's a lot of guys that have potential. How many players have we seen that come into this league, they have a good 2-3 year run and they die out, never hear from them again? It's that easy, right? You have potential till you don't have potential. It's potential till it's not potential. And to get that potential to become a reality, it does take that veteran structure around these guys to be able to do it. And I think that for Jalen coming into this year, he's had probably the most support. And one thing that Zach Lowe had pointed out in the podcast that he was talking about is that what I said in my last video, that we are underrating some of the barriers that these players have to play under. Not having the veteran leadership, not having the coaching structure. All those things really do inhibit what we think their games and how good they really are, because those are tough circumstances to come up under as a young guy, as a 20-year-old, as a 19-year-old, as some of these guys coming in at that young of an age. Those are tough circumstances for guys to play under, and then some of them still shine. They still shine, right? Like that poem that says a concrete through rose. We have some roses that have budded in the concrete of this 3-year tank. And for us, it's going to be surprising when you see these leaps. And for Jalen, having Fred, having Dylan Brooks there, Jeff Green, Londale, having Ime Udoka, Ben Sullivan, all the coaches and everybody there to really hold them accountable, push the best out of them, is going to be the best best thing for his career. And I think one of the most important aspects that I've seen from Jalen this summer, and this is what I'm really, really excited about, is the fact that your boy was selected to Team USA Select Team. My God. Y'all know I'm a big like history, NBA history. I just love history. I love history, but NBA, I always use historical precedent to really pepper how I view things in current times. And to me, this path that he's on right now, being part of the Team USA Select Team, especially being a high level player, usually the high level guys that get selected at this age, they go on to be stars. Right. And I don't know if it's because they're already stars and Team USA sees it, or there's something that happens. I think it's a mixture of both. I think there is a magic that happens when you are around great players, whether it's at the All-Star game or it's at the Team USA you were practicing. So I'm going to go through. Y'all know I love doing stuff like this. I'm going to go through first. Currently, right now, Jalen's teammates are going to be Cade. So him and Cade, if you go to NBA.com, the headline says Team USA Select Team, headlined by Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green. So him and Cade are the guys, right? Chet is on there. You got Herb Jones, you got Keegan Murray, Trey Murphy, Jalen Williams, to name some standouts, and some other guys that are going to be on there. But I'm going to name some of the players that have been on Team USA Select Team since the program started in 2007. The 2008 team featured Kevin Durant, LaMarcus Aldridge, Derrick Rose. Shout out to Luther Head being on that team, right? James Harden, Russell Westbrook. They were on the 2008 Select Team. They were going against. So you think about the guys they're facing. You're facing LeBron, Dwight Howard, CP3. They were young at that time. That was the team that didn't win gold, right? Then you backdoor and come back in 2012 with the 2012 Redeem Team. And who was getting those guys ready to go win gold and redeem the USA? Kyrie Irving, who stood out. Like after that camp, training camp with the Team USA in 2012, everybody was talking about Kyrie. And I hope that's going to be Jalen's case. Kyrie, John Wall, Kawhi Leonard, DeMar DeRozan, Klay Thompson, Paul George, Drew Holiday, some standouts from the 2012 Select Team. And who were they facing? Think about this as a young guy, as a rookie, as a sophomore, as a third-year player. You're guarding, you're playing and guarding Kobe, Kevin, Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Melo, CP3, Russ. You're surrounded by nothing but Hall of Fame players and Hall of Fame coaches. Popovich, you got Steve Kerr out there, different coaches, Jeff Van Gundy. Just you're around nothing but greatness. You can't help but be better. Y'all seen the videos of the one-on-ones with some of these guys going at each other. You know what I mean? Just different years. The 2016 year, Devin Booker was on that team. Aaron Gordon, Brandon Ingram, Zach LaVine, just to name a few. And you've seen the ones with, Paul George was also on the 2012 Redeem Team, Select Team. Forgot to mention him. And then 2020, the two standouts were Ant Edwards and Tyrese Halliburton. And then, now it's Jalen and Cade, bro. You got Chet in there, Jalen Williams. Remember those names. I want you guys in a couple years, Lord say the same, we're still here. Go back and look at that list of names on that select team. Usually that's a avenue for Team USA selections. And to me, it does lead a lot to superstardom. A lot of the players on the select team go on to play on Team USA. So if Jalen keeps his trajectory up, he's going to be a gold medalist. And I think all of that lends to what we want to see from him, not only developing that professionalism, being around guys that could show him right, having veterans and networking within the Rockets and outside of the team when you see him playing runs and being around other NBA players. And low key, guys, one thing I noticed when I was doing the research for this pod, if you look at the names, a lot of these dudes ended up being teammates. A lot of these dudes ended up being teammates. A lot of these guys on the USA team and the select team, they ended up being teammates. So that's something that you have to keep in mind, that networking does matter. It does matter because maybe a couple years down the line, the Rockets got, some cap space. We want to sign a big name. Hey, that's your boy from Team USA. That's Jalen's boy from Team USA. Oh yeah, we've been cool since Team USA. Maybe they have their own banana boat moment where they're hanging out in Vegas, and that's what bonds him and a couple of these guys, him and Chet and him and Jalen Williams. This stuff matters, man. This stuff matters, and I'm glad that we have a guy that is in those discussions, that is in those moments, that is there to experience that. And I hope a lot of our younger players, Jabari, Tari, Şengün, Amen, Cam, all these guys, get a chance to experience that feeling of being around that level of greatness, whether it's at an all-star game or it is at a Team USA select or is on Team USA playing with these high-level players. But I think for Jalen, he's on the right path to changed the narrative about him. I think a lot of circumstances have really made people view him in the light that is not positive. And I think that for him, that he is doing all the right things right now, just working out, getting his body right, getting ready for this season. I think he's going to shock a lot of people. And I also think at the end of the day, just for like everybody else on the Rockets, you just got to just show them on the court, bro. Nobody's going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're going to be good at anything till you do it. And you just got to do it, bro. Just show them that the potential isn't just potential, that is real. And I feel like he's shown the right things to do it. I think the vets are going to help him out. And I'm excited to see what he does this coming year, because I think it's going to be a breakout year. Obviously, once they start practicing with Select Team USA, I'm definitely going to be, if I get my hands on any clips of that, I'm breaking that down. I'm looking at that. I want to see the one-on-ones. I want to see the king of the courts. I want to see all the defensive drills. I need it, bro. I need that. But y'all let me know, what do y'all think about Jalen's current narrative? Do you think that he's being treated fairly? Do you think that he's going to have a big season coming up? Where do you stand on Jalen Green right now? Let me know in the comments and in the chat. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. Keep rocking with the Chop Shop, and we're going to keep dropping that.
Fire!
If you spot up, you see you got to spot up, I'ma die.
All right. By yourself. By yourself. By yourself. You are by yourself, Mike. Down, 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 down.
Flat, and you got to come around and go this way. Use all your momentum to go bam or bam.
Don't wait for that weak side pin down. We're giving you that whole room to do what you want to do. Give you the whole middle.
Hey, Brian, angle that double on a slant more.
So where he's going to the back. Okay.
The slight, yeah. Back to you. Air Brian. Ready to run the floor, boys.
Deny. Shot. Call your man out. Who y'all got? Who y'all got? Who you got, boss?